I used to think control was loud, screaming, slamming doors, bruises you could point to, but real control is quiet. It slips into your life like a habit, like something normal, like something you don't question until one day you don't recognize yourself anymore. When people asked me who I was married to, I smiled and said his name, but somewhere along the way, I forgot my own. In the beginning, he was charming, organized, responsible. He liked plans. He liked structure. He liked knowing where things were, where the money was, where I was, who I talked to. At first, it felt like care, like safety, like finally someone was taking charge so I didn't have to worry so much. That's how it starts. It always does. The first thing he touched wasn't my heart. It was my wallet. "I'll handle the finances," he said one evening, scrolling through bills like they were homework assignments. "You're not really into numbers anyway. This will make things easier for both of us." Easier sounded nice. Easier sounded like love. So I handed it over my paycheck, my passwords, my independence, without realizing I was also handing over my voice. At first, I still asked questions. Where did the money go? Why did we need approval for small things? His answers were always calm, always reasonable, always wrapped in concern. "Trust me. I know what I'm doing. Why are you stressing about this?" So I stopped asking. Then came the friends. Not all at once, slowly, carefully, like removing threads from fabric until it falls apart on its own. He didn't forbid me from seeing them. That would have been obvious. Instead, he pointed out, "She's kind of jealous of us, don't you think? He doesn't really respect our marriage. I just don't like how they influence you." Each comment was small, almost harmless. But over time, I started canceling plans on my own. I didn't want arguments. I didn't want tension. I didn't want to choose between peace and people. So I chose peace and lost myself quietly. My phone got quieter. Invitations stopped coming. Birthdays were missed. Stories I used to share stayed locked inside me. I told myself it was adulthood. People drift apart. Life gets busy. That is what grown women say when they don't to admit they're really lonely. The last thing he took was my voice, and that one hurt the most. I learned to speak carefully, to rehearse sentences in my head before saying them out loud, to explain myself even when I hadn't done anything wrong. My opinions became questions. My needs became apologies. My anger became silence. "Why are you so sensitive? You're overthinking again. You always make things difficult." So I stopped making things difficult. From the outside, we looked perfect. Stable marriage, quiet home, responsible husband, smiling wife. People told me I was lucky. And I believed them because admitting the truth would mean admitting I had allowed myself to disappear. Years passed like that. Years of shrinking. Years of convincing myself that this was normal. That love meant compromise. That marriage meant sacrifice. That women were supposed to bend a little. Then came the night everything cracked. It wasn't a fight. There was no yelling, no drama. Just a moment so small, he probably doesn't even remember it. I asked him for money. Not for anything big, not luxury. Just something I needed for myself. He didn't even look up. "Why do you need that? Can it wait?" "That's not in the budget." Something inside me snapped, not loudly, not violently, but deeply. I realized I needed permission to exist, permission to spend, permission to speak, permission to breathe. And in that moment, I saw my future clearly for the first time. If I stayed quiet, this would be my life forever. That night, I lay awake next to a man who controlled everything about me and realized the most dangerous thing of all. He thought I was weak. He thought I was dependent. He thought I had nowhere to go. He forgot one thing. Before I was his wife, I was me. I didn't leave right away. Real awakening doesn't happen overnight. It happens slowly, carefully, strategically. Because women like me don't explode, we plan. I started small. I listened more than I spoke. I watched patterns. I noticed how often he underestimated me, and that became my advantage. I opened a separate email, then a quiet bank account. I saved what I could, small amounts he wouldn't notice. I reconnected with one friend, then another. I started remembering who I was before fear shaped my decisions. And something powerful happened. The more I remembered myself, the smaller his control felt. He didn't notice at first. Why would he? Control makes people lazy. It makes them blind. He was too comfortable believing I'd never change, but I did. I started speaking again, calmly, clearly, without apology. And that scared him more than shouting ever could. "You've changed," he said one day. "Yes," I replied. And for the first time, I didn't explain myself. The final confrontation wasn't dramatic, it was quiet. I told him I was leaving, not asking, not negotiating, not justifying. His shock wasn't about losing me, it was about losing control. He tried guilt, he tried anger, he tried reminding me of everything he had done for me. And for the first time in years, I didn't shrink. I walked away with less money than I deserved, less time than I gave, but I walked away with something priceless, my voice. Today, my life isn't perfect. Healing isn't pretty. Starting over isn't easy, but every decision is mine. Every dollar I earn is mine. Every word I speak belongs to me. And sometimes when women ask me how I did it, I tell them the truth. He controlled my money. He controlled my friends. He controlled my voice. But he forgot one thing. I was never his to own.